Hello, everybody. Sean Davis here for the Raptors Nation, your home for everything Raptors. Welcome back into the Raptors Nation podcast. I want to say this is episode 3. We're still in the nitty-gritty of the off season, so we're trying to push out some content, get a little creative. Again, I'm your host, Sean Davis, joined by my co-host, Luca Rosano. Luca, my man, how are you doing? The news is slowly starting to turn around, and at least we know what the Brooklyn Nets are going to look like, and that's kind of the topic for today's video.
Yeah, excited to be back on this show, and finally the Kevin Durant saga has come to an end. That is crazy how it kind of just went throughout the entire offseason. I mean, an entire offseason of speculation on where Kevin Durant would be traded to ends, and Kevin Durant making amends with the Nets organization. And I told you so because last show that we did, when talking about how this whole thing would end, I said when it's all said and done, the Nets are going to run it back. So here they are running it back. Maybe we start to see something come up again around the NBA trade deadline, but until then, Kevin Durant and the Nets organization appear to be on good terms, and that is good news for Nets fans and bad news for the rest of the Eastern Conference because that might change where we rank the Nets in the East when we get into our power rankings in just a bit. But I'm just glad it's over with, Sean, and something tells me that maybe they drag this thing out as long as possible so guys like you and I had content to talk about on their podcast.
Yeah, I am not complaining. So first year covering the Raptors and the Lakers, so this gave me some extra stuff to talk about that I probably wouldn't have in any normal NBA offseason. But Luca kind of alluded to it there. But in today's podcast, we're going to take a look at the Eastern Conference, including the Toronto Raptors, and do a full ranking 1 through 15 of the Eastern Conference teams. I think this should be a lot of fun, and obviously we'll talk about the Raptors as well as they're one of the 15 teams. Luca, how do you want to start? Do you want to go like 15 to 11 or one by one?
I think we should first start with the West, and to answer your question, yeah, we could go 15 to 1, and you can give your Western Conference list, and then I'll follow, and then we'll go on to the East.
All right, so I had a list and I lost it, but I think I remember my list. All right, 15th in the West. I think there's only 2 teams that I think have no shot in making the play-in. Actually, 3 teams. 15th, I got the Houston Rockets. 14th, I have the San Antonio Spurs. 13th, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. 12th, I have the Sacramento Kings. 11th, I still have the Utah Jazz. They're just such a mystery right now. They're kind of in the same boat as what Brooklyn were in before the KD thing happened. 10th, I do have, and this is where I think I'll lose. The 10th, I have the Portland Trailblazers. Right now, at 9th, I do have the Lakers. Unfortunately, that's just as of right now. Again, I think they will make a move at some point, but they're going to be 9th. 8th, at 8th, I got the wait, did I mention the Kings? See, this is where I start to lose myself.
Yeah, you mentioned the Kings.
I did?
Yeah.
Were they 12 then?
I believe so, yeah.
12, 11. Yeah, okay. Thank you. There we go. At 8th, I think the Pelicans are 8th in the West. 7, it's actually going to look very similar to last season. 7th, the Minnesota Timberwolves. 6, the Dallas Mavericks. 5, the the Phoenix Suns. 4, the Memphis Grizzlies. 3, the Denver Nuggets, if I've not said them yet. 2, the Los Angeles Clippers, and number 1, the Golden State Warriors. I think I got that list correct.
I think you got it right too. Wow, that's so my number one takeaway is our lists are very similar without talking to each other before the show. And the one thing I want to point out on your list, as you went impromptu there, credit to you for being able to do that, the Phoenix Suns. So that's going to be the biggest fall off for you, finishing first, 60-plus win team a season ago. You got them, would you say 5th this year? Wow. Any reason why?
Top of my head. One, I like Denver a lot, getting all their guys back fully healthy. Jokic getting a legitimate all-star next to him for the first time in over a year now. And I like Michael Malone a lot. I think they got great depth as well. I think it's more so about the teams around them getting better than them necessarily completely falling off. Also, Chris Paul did look like he was finally starting to show signs of regression in the conference semifinals. And then again, compared to the rest of the Western Conference, I don't think they got better. Like, I think you can make a legitimate argument that
Yeah.
every team either got better, or if every team lost, or if a team lost a player or players like the Warriors did, they have then more capable players to replace them. Like the Warriors lost Gary Payton II and Otto Porter Jr. to the Raptors, but they have rookies that were rookies now, year two players who got some playing time and some experience that should be able to step in and fill those roles. But like Dallas got better for the most part. Memphis is still getting better, even if they didn't do the most flashiest things in the offseason.
Yeah.
Uh, Denver, they got better. The Clippers are getting healthy. That's all they need to get better,
Yeah. That's gonna be a
honestly.
scary team.
So yeah, I just think it's more so like, hey, all these teams are getting better. You are still about the same, more so than that.
No, yeah, I respect that. Like I said, for the most part, our lists are similar. So I'll get into mine now. So I'm actually going to have the Spurs finishing dead last. I think they're going to fully embrace the tank for Victor Wembanyama. I got the Rockets, pardon me, finishing 14th. The Thunder, who received some very bad news today in regards to Chet Holmgren. Hopefully he's okay, 13th. The Jazz, 12th. I think they're going to take the biggest step back in the Western Conference. I think this team's fully going to embrace playing the long-term game and trying to get better through the draft. I got the Sacramento Kings finishing 11th. I really wanted to put the Kings in the play-in, but then I started going through this list and I realized the Western Conference, I like the East. Very, very tough. So I'm just going to have the Kings finishing outside of the play-in. In 10th, I got your Los Angeles Lakers. Yes, I do think the Lakers will sneak into the play-in. I was contemplating putting the Kings ahead of them, but I'm like, you know what? The Lakers, assuming AD is healthy and LeBron is engaged, they did make some nice moves this offseason. Don't get me wrong. The Lakers should be at least in the plan. The Blazers, 9. I got this team doing a lot better this season. They, too, had a very good, underrated offseason. Got a little bit of help for Dame. Had a nice draft. I think Dame being healthy is going to be huge. Obviously, locking up Simons as well was big for them. 8th, I got the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans are definitely going to be a playoff team this season. Zion Williamson is scheduled to play in the opener against the Nets. Looking forward to seeing how the Pelicans are. The T-Wolves finishing 7th, so I agree with you on that one. And that's crazy because a lot of people have the T-Wolves finishing higher up, and I did too initially. But then again, when I got into the list, I'm like, damn, the West is so damn tough that T-Wolves might finish where they were a season ago, if not worse. But I think they will finish 7th. Dallas, I got finishing 6th. I got the Grizzlies falling back here, so they're going to be my surprise. Like the Suns were on your list, Sean. I got the Grizzlies finishing 5th. Clippers finishing 4th. Again, it's going to come down to health. Hopefully, Kawhi and company can stay true to that. I agree with the Nuggets being 3rd. I have them 3rd as well. And then my 1 and 2 are going to look exactly like it was a year ago. I think Warriors finish 2nd. And then I'm not taking away from the Suns. I think they're just an amazing regular season team. They're going to be pissed from getting embarrassed by the Mavs in the playoffs. They'll take care of business, and they will lock up the number 1 seed again.
My biggest takeaway from your list is, honestly, I think they're all justified. Where did you have Utah at again?
12.
Okay, I'm assuming even with Donovan Mitchell, I don't think that's a play-in team. I like Donovan a lot, but like you look, Portland's better in my eyes.
Yeah.
The Lakers, as long as they're healthy, they should make it. Yeah, I just, even with Donovan Mitchell, I think that's why I think they should just trade Donovan, because it's like trying to go 8 and 9 in football. You don't help yourself. Like either really try to make the playoffs and be a contending team, or just embrace, not even like tank, but embrace the rebuild, because it's better to be bad or two for a year, in my opinion, in terms of team building. It's better to suck for a year or two than be mediocre and have bad draft picks, and you can't really, move forward as a franchise. That's why I think they should, and I think they will trade Donovan Mitchell. But no real glaring problems with your list. I think it's a really good list, personally.
Yeah, that's well said. Exactly. Like, are the Jazz really going to finish ahead of the Lakers, Blazers? And then you get into like the real nitty gritty of the West, like the Pelicans, T-Wolves, Mavs. Like, that's not happening. So I think that's the team that I think is going to have the biggest fallback.
All right, let's dive into the East. I do have more of a well put together thought. I think I got a couple of hot takes, not because I'm trying to be hot takey, but I do. It's not like I'm one of those Fox Sports dudes who just say hot takes, just have hot takes. But dive into my Eastern Conference. At 15th, I have the Pistons. At 14th, I have the Magic. Wow. At 13, I have the Knicks without a Donovan Mitchell trade. At 12, I have the Hornets. At 11, I have the Pacers. That's going to shock some people. At 10, I have the Wizards. 9, I have the Bulls. 8, I have the Hawks. At 7, I actually have Philly. At 6, I have the
Oh
Cavs.
wow.
5, I have the Nets. 4, I have the Raptors. 3, I have the Heat. 2, I have the Celtics. 1, I have the Bucks.
I'm laughing because like we have so many dead on similarities here without even talking to each other.
I was about to say, I promise, guys, we did not talk before we got on here.
Yeah, like it really is crazy. I guess my main takeaways from your list before I get into mine, the Pistons being 15th, I think is a travesty, Sean. I mean, this team's going to be a lot better. At least I think they are. I expect Kate to make a leap. They had a really good draft. They were a very competitive team from a year ago. Trust me, I know because they beat the Raptors a handful of times. That is actually going to be my surprise team in the East, as you're soon going to find out. So that's my first takeaway. What else did I want to highlight? I think no, for the rest of it is justifiable. Oh no, and then yeah, the Sixers having the would you have them 7th?
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, that to me is wild. Like I know the Sixers aren't really a regular season team, and you said before that you're not buying stock in them at all, but man, the
selling all my
7th, like they're
stock.
gonna have James Harden and Embiid playing with each other for an entire season. They got PJ Tucker, which was a very underrated pickup. Maxi might even get better than he
By
was a
the way,
season
that
ago
contract
in
is
another
bad.
league.
That's a bad contract.
Yeah, well,
That
I think
contract's
the
gonna
Sixers
look
are going to be a little bit better than they were a season ago. So that those are the two takeaways from your list: the Pistons being dead last and the Sixers being 7th.
that contract. But I get it. The Sixers one. I get why that got some flashback. No, not flashback. Drawback. You know what I'm trying to say. But
Yeah.
about PJ Tucker really quickly. That contract's gonna look abysmal in about a year. Book it.
Yeah, it probably is, but I understand where the Sixers are coming from. They're in win now mode, and Morey knows that he's got to win with this team, or else you're probably not going to win with Joel Embiid there. So, okay, let's get into my list now. I got the Magic finishing dead last, 15th. I got the Wizards 14th. I got the Pacers finishing 13th. Hornets finishing 12th, just like you. I have the Pistons finishing 11th. Now, I was so tempted to put them in the play-in, but then again, I realized the East is way too good. I think the Pistons are just going to fall short of that. I'm going to give the Knicks some respect here. I think the Knicks get back into the play-in / maybe playoffs. I have them 10th. I got the Bulls finishing 9th, so that's why I was laughing when you said the Bulls, because that's the exact spot you have them finishing in. I think that's going to be the team in the East that definitely has a fallback from a season ago. Hawks 8th. I think you had that. Cavs 7th. I think they're going to just miss the actual top 6. Then I got the Nets finishing 6th. I got the Raptors 5th. So I got the Raptors a little bit higher up on my list than you. I
I had
got
the
the
Raptors 4.
Oh, you have the Raptors 4? I totally missed that.
Yeah, the Raptors 4.
Okay, never mind. So you got the Raptors higher than me. I stand corrected. So yeah, Raptors 5th. I got the Heat 4th. I think they're gonna fall back from the 1 seed, and then my top 3: Sixers 3rd, Bucks 2, Celtics 1. But 1 and 2, it'll be
Interchangeable. Yeah.
exactly
Um.
my list.
Okay, I might have been high, I might have been too low on Philly. I think you're too high on Philly. If I'm too low on Philly.
I mean, I got Philly 3rd, so we'll see who's right by the end of the season.
Yeah, we'll see who's right. I was just about to say that I think it'll be fun to look back on these, like at the trade deadline, or like at the end of the season. Like, yeah, I was completely wrong about Detroit. My bad. I will take my L there. No, and we have Atlanta 8th, and for some reason there's an Atlanta Hawks fan listening. This is not that personally, not that I like hate the Hawks this year, but I think the East is just loaded. And personally, again, this isn't a Hawks podcast, and this might be a hot take. I don't think DeJounte Murray moves the needle that much for you. I really don't. I don't think what the Hawks needed was another guard that could. Now, granted, you could say, "Oh, it helps trade defensively. You can high trade a little bit more." Yeah, but I think with the Hawks, if we really wanted to trade something and go get something, it was another wing that could score. Like Trey is fine. Like who cares? You can if you want to high Trey, go get another wing and just play big. Put DeAndre Hunter at the 2 if you really wanted to. I just don't think DeJounte 100% moves the needle. At best, or maybe a 6 seed. I just don't. I
Yeah.
love DeJounte. I think it'll be a fun duo, but it doesn't solve that many problems from my vantage point.
No, I agree. And it's like, do you really want to take the ball out of Trae Young's hands? Like now you're gonna have to try to get DeJounte Murray a handful of touches. And who knows if it's gonna necessarily work. I think the Hawks could have got better elsewhere. And I still
With
do
what they
have them
gave
making
up,
the
especially.
exactly. So I still have them making the playoffs, obviously, but are they gonna make noise in the playoffs and return to that Eastern Conference final ceiling like a couple seasons ago? I don't see it. What I do want to say though is like the Eastern Conference is going to be a bloodbath. Like when it's all said and done, Sean, like you're going to have like a team that was good last season missed the playoffs outright. Like we both have the Bulls 9, so maybe that's that team. But you talk about Bulls, Hawks, Cavs, Nets, Raptors, Heat, Sixers, Bucks, Celtics. Like those are 9 very good teams. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see which one of those teams is going to be the odd team out and miss the playoffs entirely. I do think it's Chicago. I think they did have a very disappointing offseason from the perspective that they didn't do anything. They took care of business, had to, brought back guys they needed to bring in, but they didn't really make that major move that I really felt they needed to make, especially since they were good last season. They weren't good enough, and that was obviously on full display as they did not play well to close out the season, and then the Bucks did what they did against them. So I really wanted the Bulls to be aggressive, but they weren't, and they're running it back with their same team. And I think the way that the end of the season was not good at all. I think we're going to see a little bit of the same weaknesses that we saw towards the end of the season come up at the start of this season. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be the same type of successful year for the Bulls. So sorry, Bulls fans.
To wrap things up here, I hate to put you on the spot, Luca, but who's winning Coach of the Year? If you had to make a pick
Oh,
on
wow.
September 24th as the time of recording and release
Uh,
September 25th.
Honestly, I'm just gonna go based on like who I got like as the 1 seed here. I think it's gonna go to the Udoka. I think it'll go to him. I think the Celtics are gonna have a very good regular season. I got him finishing 1. I could see them maybe get to that 60 win mark. I know that could be deemed as a bold take, but then again, the Suns got that and then some last season. So I'm gonna go with Udoka just based on my standings here.
I'm gonna go with a team that I think is gonna have a quote unquote breakout year, even though they kind of had it last year. They just missed out on the playoffs. I'm gonna go with JB Bickerstaff. I think a coach like him or Willie Green from New Orleans are gonna really
Yeah.
establish himself as a household name in the NBA and show that they truly are one of the best coaches in basketball. But Raptors Nation, I know this was a shorter podcast, but not much to talk about right now. But comment down below, where do the Raptors fit and where do you think they'll land in the Eastern Conference? Comment down below, and as always, subscribe right here to the Raptors Nation YouTube channel. Ring that notification bell as well. For Raptors Nation, Sean Davis and Luca Rosano, stay safe. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Take care.